How do they do it? Why do they do it? Riding and crashing and riding and winning and always faster and faster and faster.
Hi everybody and welcome back to With Antone MotoGP in 2025. I want to thank everybody who watched last week's Buriram Burn episode. What a race that was, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, and we're going to talk a little bit about the next round of the MotoGP coming up in Argentina at Termas de Río Hondo, I think they pronounce it actually. It's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to, actually, the second round. Been some big news this week in MotoGP, which is the tyre suppliers. There's been a change. You've probably seen there's a change where we've got Michelin being outbid by Pirelli. So that's going to be a change. We're going to see Pirelli taking over as the official supplier, which will mean they'll cover Moto 3, Moto 2 and MotoGP. Coincidentally, a lot of the junior series as well in Europe are Pirelli. And, of course, you've got World Superbikes. So that's going to make it easier for Toprak, if he does want to come across next year, to come across on the Pirellis, if he wants to wait till 2027, of course, and not next year. So tyres, I remember, I've been involved with motorbike racing since the early 70s, and, my real interest in the 500cc's MotoGP started in the early 80s, and that's when there was, multiple tyre manufacturers, so it was a real tyre war that used to exist. You can have, Dunlop running against Michelin, and then, of course, Bridgestone came in, and we famously remember, Rossi doing every single thing he could to get off Michelin and onto Bridgestones, when the Ducati and Casey was dominating. I think they ended up putting a wall in the pit box at the beginning of the Lorenzo Rossi wall. That's really something. But I want to touch a little bit, just before we move forward, I want to touch a little bit on Buriram and Agura. What a ride, the best debut performance since Marc Márquez did that in 2013. So an amazing ride, and he seemed to take it all in his stride. David Brivio, ex-Suzuki, now running the Trackhouse team, has a reputation for having an eye for talent, and maybe he's really spotted one there. So we can see how that is going to go. So let's look at Argentina. Now, of course, last year, 2024, the race was cancelled due to economic reasons. The Argentinian government basically wouldn't cover the cost of that. So we've got to go back to 23 to see the last real results. And just looking back and trying to remember, rewatching the race, Bezzecchi actually won the race, the Grand Prix, on the 23 Ducati, which was really the reason he's now riding for the factory team. It was a great year for him. In 23, Zarco was second. Again on Pramac, and Alex Marquez was third. And then, of course, 2022, it was an Alex Espargaro victory with Jorge Martin and Rins on Suzuki. It doesn't seem like that long ago Suzuki were racing and winning, but at the same time, it's a long time in racing, a couple of years. Another point, Bagnaia has never had a podium that I could detect in the Premier class in Argentina. So I don't know whether the tracks... We've seen some bizarre things in Argentina. I remember the race where Jack Miller was on the start of the grid, front of the grid. I think that might have been... I can't remember which year that was. But anyway, he started and the rest of the field were way behind. And I remember the absolute demolition that Marquez did in... 2019? We'll talk about that in a minute as well. We're going to have to look at how we look at some of the predictions. But I want to pose this question. When I watched Marc Márquez run away with it last week, 2 weeks ago now in Buriram, made me think about how many races in a row will Márquez win on the Ducati. Now, you remember in 2014, he put together 10 straight victories in that season. They didn't see which way he went, and in 2014 they still don't know where he went. He equaled Mick Doohan on the Honda. I think it was the Screamer engine he had in the Honda, and he did 10 in a row in 1997. So it really started to make me think, how many in a row is Marquez going to win? Now, look, famously in 19, when Marquez was fit and healthy, he absolutely blitzed the field. I think he blew Rossi away. He went, away some distance, and I think he crossed the finish line just on 10 seconds ahead. Talking about how KTM have performed at the circuit, I was looking back over the results back in 23, and it was really when Jack Miller was doing quite well with KTM. I think he ended up running in 6th position, finishing for that. So the KTM has some form there, although I think they're completely lost at the moment, quite frankly, when you consider you've got Ducati, Aprilia, even Honda finishing ahead of them. I really don't quite know where they're going to go. And Acosta, we talked about last week about what I believe will happen with Vinales, but we'll wait and see. I'm thinking that Bagnaia never had a podium. I don't know if that's going to change. We're going to find out a lot about his mental state. How strong is he, and what is he going to do? He's in the box with an absolute ruthless competitor. A ruthless competitor who's happy. And a happy rider's a fast rider. So we're going to have to wait and see. You've got Yamaha on the increase. There's rumours about them changing wheels. I didn't realise that they're not running the same wheels as everybody else, and there's some correlation between wheels and tyres, and being the week of tyres, that might be something. I'm not too sure when they plan to do that. So anyway, I see the winner of Argentina, surprise, surprise, Marc Márquez. He won in 19, in 16, and as way back as 14. He's been dominant at that circuit. I think Bezzecchi will run well. I think the Aprilias will run well. I think Agura, I don't think it's a flash in the pan. It'll be interesting to see how he goes as a rookie going to Argentina for the first time on the MotoGP. We'll see how he runs. And we'll have to see what Alex Marquez can do. But I'll be interested in your thoughts. 2 questions. 1, how many races in a row, GPs, will Marc Marquez win? Can he make it 10 again? And 2, what do you think the finishing positions are going to be in, both the sprint and, of course, the main GP on the Sunday? But I want to say thanks for watching. Please, if you like it, give us a like. I'd really love some comments about what you think the finishing order may be, and in particular about Marc Marquez. And if you feel like it, then please subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss any more episodes coming. So thanks for watching today, and bye for now. And I really hope you enjoy the race in Argentina.